Hello everyone, you are welcome to Anchor Network, where you get reliable and authentic news that are so crucial to you. I say big thank you to everyone who has been part of this channel and who has taken time to subscribe. And if you are yet to subscribe, I say please click the red subscribe button and also the bell icon. The bell icon will allow you to get notified
anytime we publish any news.
I am shocked to hear what Buhari's ex-ministers are saying about him, Bishop Kuka says. And our Bishop Kuka has trended this period a lot too. So who are those ex-ministers of Buhari and what are they saying about Buhari now that is shocking Kuka? We need to hear him. According to him, the only problem he had with the former president was his inability to manage the country's diversity. The Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Reverend Father Matthew Kuka, has said he's shocked to hear what ex-ministers of former President Muhammadu Buhari are saying about him. This is as he reiterated that his criticism of the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari was never personal. He said the only issue he had with Buhari was the former president's inability to manage the country's diversity. Daily Trust reports that Father Kuka was always at loggerheads with the Buhari's government and was one of the fiercest critics of the administration. So in fact, Kuka, in his December 2022 Christmas message, the last to be delivered under the watch of Buhari, declared that the former president had made Nigeria more vulnerable and succeeded in splitting the country. Clearly, in almost every department and with all indicators, our nation has become a tale of two cities. We have wars between the rich and the poor, men and women, across generations, along party lines, social classes, religion, ethnicity, and so on. The center has given up in almost every department, he wrote. Also, Buhari, former social advisor on media and publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina, never spared a moment to fire back at Father Kuka. In fact, Adesina once accused the bishop of being angry with Buhari for not patronizing him. Can you imagine? But on Wednesday, Kuka, in an interview on Arise, said he has no personal grudge against the former president. He also said Adesina, who was always defending him, was merely doing his job and teasing him to probably relocate to Daura, where there is a branch of Foursquare Gospel Church where he is a pastor, so that he can be closer to his godfather. So when asked if he was missing his friend Buhari, whom he was always criticizing, he said, Buhari has served his term. He also knew, and I respect him for that there was nothing I was saying that was personal. I imagined poor Adesina and his team had a job to do, and they needed to do that job, even though there was nothing to say. I will respect and I will hope that Pastor Adesina knows that there is a Foursquare Gospel Church in Daura. I believe that the president of Foursquare Gospel Church should send him there as a pastor, so that he is quite close to his godfather. But having said that, I mean, President Buhari had finished his term and he is gone, and there is very little else to be said for and against. But everybody knew we had a job to do. There was nothing I said about President Buhari that was personal. That was disrespectful. I just felt he was doing things that is, especially in the era of managing our diversity and area of managing our diversity. Okay, and look, I am talking to ministers now who served in that government. I cannot call names. I am shocked to hear the kind of things people are saying. Those who served in that government, that is for another day. Can you imagine? So on 6 months of President Bola Tinubu in power, he stated why the 6 months might be too short to rate a sitting president. Many expected him to hit the ground running, having prepared for the race for over 20 years. However, he stated that the leadership selection structure is so self-constraining. I am not making an excuse for anybody. I am just saying the very fact that you had to rely on governors to give you names of ministers, and you rely on external agencies to be able to do things that ordinarily you, who is composing the team, needs to be able to do. I mean, a court decides who is going to come out in at what time, depending on the excuse that the person has. So I totally agree with you that by now you should have thought, okay, this is what we want to do. This is who can do it, and this is how it needs to be done. However, he said the best solution is to continue to hold those in power responsible, and they have no excuse not to perform. If you stand up to be elected and you are elected, you must be prepared to face the consequences of that election. That means we must constantly hold your feet to the fire. So that's why I am saying institutions and instruments of engagement must be in full glass. Okay, that must be transparent. But also we must help to clarify public policies by articulating the things that need to be done and where the country needs to be heading. Exactly. So the same thing he said yesterday. So the different thing here is that he is speaking with several ministers that have worked with Buhari, and he is shocked to hear what they are saying about Buhari. What are they going to say? The truth is that the people in power know the truth. They know that Buhari was not capable of running Nigeria, but they just needed to hide under him, to steal and to do all the things they did under Buhari. All the things they did, they just used Buhari as a stooge, as a shield to do them. When you raise your head, it's Buhari you are seeing, but Buhari actually, to a very large extent, never knew what was happening. They used Buhari a lot to do what they did. They know that. They know the truth. All the propaganda APC was doing, even Femi Adesina and all of them were doing under APC, were doing it just to sustain the government so that they could also get what they wanted to get from the government. Not really because they wanted to serve the people, because if you rate them, you know that they didn't really serve the people. Under Buhari, we had the worst banditry in Nigeria, Boko Haram, ISWAP, all kinds of killing across Nigeria, and people started raising their own homegrown security outfit to protect themselves. And that was while Ibubago and ESN came up, and even what they call them, Hisba has always been in the north, and then Amotekun has to spring up in the west. Okay, but rather than fighting Boko Haram and all the Fulani herdsmen causing problem, they discharged all the soldiers straight to southeast to go and kill ESN and IPOB, saying that they are the people causing the problem. Quite unfortunate situation. So the same way that people are also under Tinubu are supporting Tinubu, even when they know all the truths about Tinubu himself, personality, identity, and also the APC, they are just doing all of that to be able to sell the propaganda, to remain in power, and also to do what they want to do. The same thing that happened under Buhari will definitely happen under Tinubu, and probably the worst will still happen. That is the truth, because the government, they are not really interested in the people, they are interested in their own themselves. That's why they keep saying that there's no permanent friend or permanent enemy. It is all about permanent interest. So their interest is what is driving them. Quite unfortunate, I tell you. So thank you for listening, and let's have your comment. That was all the statement from Bishop Kuka.